I thought, getting fame and becoming known or an Instagram influencer was going to get me noticed and, that someone would find me and, want to scout me or, I'd be able to be put on a show or cast somewhere.
Hey everyone, it's Sara here, and I don't know about you, but two of my favorite days of the week are Taco Tuesday and Taco Thursday, and basically I just love tacos any day. So I've been talking to my friends about tacos a lot, so I figured why not do an episode on tacos.
Eventually someone did find me, but I wasn't who I expected. My childhood was interesting. I grew up with a mom who was Jewish and a dad who was Catholic, and I was raised Jewish. I know my parents loved me. They raised me as best they could. They did, everything possible to spoil my sister and I. I really had nothing to complain about, but I always felt like the black sheep in the family. Early on, my sister had this gift for golf, so I always felt like I had to compete. Like I never felt like I was good enough and, I'd be able to make a name for myself like she did. She'd be in the papers. And my dad still loves golf, but he played golf a lot and would, bring my sister to lessons. And, I think that's when I really started feeling left out and like the black sheep of the family. And it was definitely something I struggled with, like always having to prove myself. And, I guess perfectionism kind of popped up in different ways. Like I was able to be there for my mom at temple growing up. I did everything she asked, and I felt like I had to perform because I didn't really feel so connected sometimes. And I memorized all the prayers, and I don't know, I knew it made my mom happy. Because of the perfectionism that I grew up with, I had really high expectations for my parents, which eventually I started to give to myself. When I was in college, I interned for the Rachel Ray show, and I had really wanted to be like the next Rachel Ray because I loved cooking, and I like the idea of being in the spotlight and just being able, that whole thing just definitely caught my eye, and I started to chase that. And that kind of, I guess that needing to appease people kind of continued throughout my story. I ended up in a codependent relationship for almost 7 years. There is a little light in that relationship. I had accepted Jesus for the first time in that relationship, but I didn't really follow, what the Holy Spirit was telling me. And I listened to the person I was dating, this guy, over, what God possibly could have been telling me. I wasn't really totally in tune with the Holy Spirit. So when that relationship broke up, I was a mess. Started partying, started hanging out with friends. I would drink all the time, and, would always try to find that love that I was missing for a long time with guys, and that whole lifestyle, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I just didn't do the drugs. Social media was a huge part of my story too. It was kind of like the black hole for me, especially when it came to Snapchat and stuff, and just tried to make my life look so much better than how I felt. And, people believed it. It was rough, and I don't know, I really struggled with my identity for a long time. But one morning I was really desperate, and I guess I was just tired. I posted on my Instagram that God put your supernatural in my natural. And later that evening I was driving home after drinking way too much, and I got a DUI. And God did put his supernatural in my natural. I kind of was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Things really do need to change. And it was kind of a turning point in my life of maybe I need to stop drinking. Maybe this lifestyle isn't really helping me, and I should really just kind of trust God and let him take the wheel with my life and, see what he has in store for me, because my ways aren't working out very well, and I'm just hurting myself over and over again. Ever since then, I really kind of see that God was chasing me, and, that he just wants to show his love for us by having his son go die on the cross and be resurrected back so that we can have a new life. Just his love and forgiveness always showed up, especially through those first couple months of getting sober and readjusting to a new life. And right now I'm, in school to become a drug and alcohol counselor, and I work at a rehab where I'm able to show, men and even women now the love of God because I've been where they've been. And, God gives me the tools to be able to help them and just show them, that they're not alone and that they can, get through it, and give them the tools that I was given. Now, over 3 years later, I can say that I don't have to compete for my Father's love anymore. I know I'm loved by the Father, and He definitely has shown me a move of compassion. And like He says in His word, love your neighbor as yourself. I felt like it's the least I can do after all the compassion and kindness and mercy God's shown me. It just encourages me to do the same for other people.